And I want to talk about because you asked him yourself, you asked to get into the mindset of who steals masterpieces. What type, from A, your conversations with Miles, and from B, your investigations, get us into the head of an art criminal? Because, like you said, this is really the stuff of movies. I mean, who steals masterpieces?
That's the big question, right? So the people who steal masterpiece paintings are not the people that you see in Hollywood films. It's very important to make that um, clear. People initially envisioned Thomas Crown sort Ocean's 12 team that stole art in that movie. But in reality, it's your common criminals who are stealing all sorts of things. And basically, when you get into their mind, you find that they've stolen things and made some money, but they realize that perhaps if they steal a masterpiece that's worth millions and they're able to fence it, then they're going to make real money. And that is the motive for every one of these art thieves is to steal something to make money, except for Miles Connor.
And I want to get into the Miles Connor part of it in a little bit because, I mean, his motivation was fascinating for why he ended up ultimately stealing that Rembrandt. But I want to go on the flip side and talk about who exactly is buying these pieces because when someone steals a masterpiece, when they steal something that has fame, storied history, obviously it gets media attention because it's now gone. Who's buying that? Because, I mean, this story had a little bit of everything, right? Art heists, friendship, loyalty, also the mafia. I mean, who's buying that and why would they want that in their home or something like that and then be associated with another crime?
It's a really important question. It's right at the crux of the whole thing. So, in short, nobody's buying them, right? So, thieves steal these paintings thinking they can sell them, and it's a short-sighted crime. So, and I'm talking about masterpieces now. When you steal something that valuable, it makes big news, as you rightly pointed out. So, when you combine the fact that everyone knows what the work looks like and everyone knows it's valuable, it becomes too hot and too expensive for anybody to take the risk. Anybody who had enough money to buy it, even at 10%, could probably just buy their own. So, but what happens, and what happened in the case in the book, is that a reward was offered. So now the mafia gets involved and others get involved because there is a way to sell it, and that is to sell it back for the reward.
And you noted earlier in the conversation that Hollywood really paints art criminals, art heists as sexy masterminds almost, and the crimes aren't like that. I want to read part of your book. While Hollywood has convinced most of the world, including many law enforcement officials, that art theft is something perpetrated by slick cat burglars, that's rarely the case. Reality is far more mundane, far less attractive. It's typically perpetrated not only by the urbane and sophisticated, but by the brutish and uninformed. It seemed like Miles, though, was a little different because you said that he was, if he's focused and he was a musician, if he focused all of his time on music opposed to art thievery, he could be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You called him the Elvis Presley of art heists. What do you think separated him from the rest?
I'm so glad you asked that. So, what separates him is motive and also that he did it more than once. So, because you can't sell these things, it's incredibly rare for somebody to steal a masterpiece more than once because they know it's a folly, but not Miles. I'm really interested in outliers. So, I've kept this database I talk about often with about 1,500 heists in it. And again, you only see very few people who've done it more than once. But my last book was about a woman who's the only woman to steal a masterpiece. And then this book is about someone who did it more than once and did it better than anyone, and with these really unusual motives. So his life story, as you mentioned too, he could have been a major rock and roll star, but he just couldn't help himself when it came to fine art and antiques.